everything else up, so it's all good. Unpause, and we are here with game number 5 in the Polaris best of 9 between TaToH and MbL. MbL here in the purple down to the south, and he is playing as the Huns, and just to the north of him in the teal we've got MbL playing as the Celts. Interesting decision from him. Huns versus Celts here on the map Chaos Pit. Chaos Pit is, well, as the name might suggest, a little bit chaotic, perhaps? I don't know. Yeah, it is very chaotic. It's kind of a cool map, actually. We'll look at the map in more detail in just a minute. But Celts versus Huns, that is not a matchup you see every day. And I'm pretty thankful for these hidden civs here, and I'm thankful to MbL for breaking the mold a little bit and not going with Huns a single time so far this event. You've got to commend him for that, because that takes some guts. A lot of players out there, they'll choose Huns every time if they get the opportunity. But I like this a lot, and Chaos Pit is a map I've not seen in quite some time. I believe it's from Light Random. No, actually, it's from the Psy map pack, which is a surprise. I thought it was from Light Random, but what do I know? It's like a pit, right? And it's yeah, it's a pit-like. But if you want to get to the outside of the pit, you have to cut your way out, because there are a wall of trees here, three forest trees deep, and that will enable you to get to the edge where there is a lot of gold and a lot more wood as well. The wood in the center is not the best, small clumps here and there, and I imagine both players will be building, yeah, their lumber camp right at the edge. MbL here putting his camp up at the what's that, northeast side, and he's going to try and start working on cutting his way through nice and early, because there is no gold in the middle of the map. There is no gold at all in the center, and they have to get out to the edge as fast as possible in order to be able to get that gold. And, you know, without gold, there's not a lot you can do in this game. You can make trash, and that's alright for the feudal age, but after that, you're kind of stuck. You can't go up to the castle age without selling or using the market, and you can't make any good units really, because they need gold. And so it's so important that the gold is taken here. There is one or two relics, in fact, in the center. They aren't really going to be too important, because it's unlikely that either of these guys will be going up to the castle age fairly soon. But I would be interested to see if one of them would perhaps sell some stone here to get to the castle age. If they were to do that, that could be interesting, but it depends what would happen first. What happens first? Do they manage to get out to the edge and take the gold, or do they manage to sell the stone and go up to the castle age that way? It'll be interesting to find out, I guess. And TaToH nearly losing his scout to MbL's TC there, just getting out with his life. So this map as well has got a little bit of stone in the center, in the central pit. The stone could encourage them to do a bit of a tower rush, which could be pretty effective if done in the right way. And in the right way, I mean tower rushing the wood on the flanks here. Now, so far, you might notice that TaToH hasn't built a lumber camp just yet. He's kind of really not wanting to do that. Being pretty stubborn about it. It's like, nah, I'm not going to build a lumber camp. I'm going to take my straggler trees and delay that lumber camp as long as possible here. I'm not really sure what his reasoning for that is, to be honest with you. And he should consider, there we go, building a lumber camp eventually. Moving out to the edge of the map now. Now, this means that MbL does have a small advantage in cutting out to the edge of the map. But I guess we'll have to wait and see as to what these guys' plans are going to be. I get the feeling that Robert Stinson, TaToH here, is trying for a faster feudal time. Now, typically speaking, the Huns do have a faster feudal time. They do obviously not have to build houses, and they save quite a bit of wood in doing that, which is nice. And that's allowed him, in this situation, to put more villagers onto food earlier. And that's kind of a big deal. You know, the earlier you get your villagers onto the food, the faster you take the deer, the faster you're going to make it up to the feudal age. And I think his plan here is to fast feudal and then perhaps do some towers or something along those lines. Has he found the stone? Well, yes. And will he make towers? We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But it's certainly worth considering that he might be doing that. Who knows? He could even go for a drush if he's crazy. I don't think a drush would be valuable at all, though, in this map. It's too risky, and if you lose your drush or your drush fails, you've just wasted your 100 starting gold. So he's doing loom at the moment. That's setting back a little bit on the gold count, but it's a vital research, I feel, especially if he does plan to tower rush. However, not taking any stone yet, not really showing any signs of a tower rush, but certainly showing signs of a faster feudal time. If we have a quick look, 470 food for TaToH, 500 food for TaToH. He's up to feudal now on 20 population, definitely trying to get there quite quickly. And for MbL, he's still got 4 villagers queued up. He's only got 96 food in the bank. It's going to be a while before he clicks up. He might keep going. He might just keep going and make more and more villagers. MbL's PC apparently though is on fire. Oh, okay, it's an airplane apparently. I guess his fans are just going like at the moment, which is surprising. You know, AOC what 1999, and his PC can't handle it, man. It's too much for MbL. Maybe his PC is going to turn into a pile of slag metal by the end of this game. It's overheating from this game. It's getting hot in here. But yeah, TaToH on this right side, 6 villagers to the stone. I called it. He is clearly going to do a tower rush, and I think it could work out pretty well, but it is risky. The advantage that he has got, though, is that he is up to feudal faster, which means there's no counter towers from MbL. That's not a possibility. How is he going to counter tower if he can't even build a tower? Not happening. He's just finished up Loom though, and he's now clicking up to feudal, whilst TaToH's at 83%. So there's quite a big difference there. And well, I guess we'll see. We will see how it goes down. But you know, towering on here makes a lot of sense, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Anyway, this reminds me of the game on, was it Poppy Field? I think it was called Poppy Field. You guys probably remember. Between Ra and Spring, quite a while ago, I hosted an event, and it was Ra and Spring. I think it might have been the best of 9 Bonanza, actually. No, it wasn't, because I was casting with Milpford, so it wouldn't have been the best of 9 Bonanza. I can't remember, but where Spring ran all of his villagers to the corner of the map, then that's basically the same strategy that was used there. And, well, TaToH here, towering up quickly, getting that tower out of range of the wood line. Fantastic. Unfortunately, yeah, just pointing out there, I did notice he had 2 berries, but I just assumed that MbL would have had 2 berries as well. He does have 2 berries, in fact. He's just not scouted the other one. They both have 2 berries, so I don't know why he's complaining. I guess he's just scouted his enemy better than he's scouted himself. So anyway, we've actually got a barracks up on the front for MbL here. I get the feeling he's not going to make militia. Like, that's pretty evident. But what he might do is put up an archery range and make some skirms, perhaps, or maybe some spears to do, well, to support his villagers with. But either way, this tower is certainly going to be annoying, and he's having to counter tower this as well. He's really close to the edge of the map, though. He's just got one line of tree to cut through, and he'll be there, which is pretty damn good. Now, this tower from TaToH wasn't amazing. Like, it's out of range of this lumber camp. You know, it's not a massive deal, to be honest. But it is certainly going to be annoying. And if he repairs it, if MbL repairs it and gets inside, he could take that tower down and resume cutting his way out of this horrible place. But he is going to have to deal with more towers from the TaToH here. TaToH putting one up on the front. As MbL goes for a blacksmith and archery range, he could afford to do fletching here, and I'm going to be interested to see if he goes for it. That would give his tower the advantage, and that could be very, very useful to him, but we'll see what goes on with that very soon. This lumber camp going back up, though, and I mean, he's really close to getting out. And that is going to be huge. Meanwhile, Robert Stinson, TaToH still taking this wood at the back. He's not as close to getting out, but of course he's definitely slowed MbL down with this tower here. So MbL not doing anything from his blacksmith at the moment. But I don't know what his plan is here. He's got idle villagers at his berries. He's taking some stone of his own so he can prepare more counter towers. But you'd think maybe he would do fletching if he was going to put up a blacksmith this early. And there it is. Just a little bit slow, I think. I think MbL this game slowing right down. His APM is much lower than Robert Stinson TaToH's APM, and it has been for the entire game. TaToH just seemed to be in control at the moment, but MbL with another tower here, and now he's got fletching that might just reach, and that's going to be really good for him. But still, he's not taking advantage of the fact that his lumber here is really close to getting out. It's just 72 wood left on that tree. He could take that safely, I think, and I think he should do it. I think he should. More towers coming up at the top, though. This wood line is getting pretty hectic up in the north, but fletching is done, and that gives Mr. MbL the advantage. Everyone now, since Mr. Yo came into my life, everybody is called Mr. Someone. So MbL trying to wall up here, and I think that's a clever thing to do, or a wise thing to do at the very least. Not sure about this wall down the middle, but he's walling, that's for sure. He's at least trying it. Gonna make sure, of course, to cause a funnel towards his TC to keep his villagers nice and safe. The worst thing to happen when you're being tower rushed is, you know, all your focus over here, and then the next thing you know, someone, you know, they've snuck a villager in, or they put a tower outside of your TC, and it's a pain in the butt to get rid of. So rather wall up and have an idea where your opponent's coming from than not wall up at all. So another lumber camp rather coming up at the back. MbL is so close to getting out. 67 wood on this tree, and well, 80 wood on the tree here for Robert Stinson. Once these guys get out to the edge, it's going to be another story altogether. It's going to be pretty good, I think, once they get out to the edge, because they're going to start getting a lot of gold income. There's a lot of gold out there, and that's going to be awesome. But they've got to get there first, and they're still a little ways away yet, which is annoying, to say the least. MbL at the moment, his TC is idle, whereas Robert Stinson's TC, more than enough food to keep villager production going. MbL struggling to get that food in here. He does not have enough villagers taking farms, but he's struggling to get the wood, building a mill and farms at the back here. But these two towers being very effective. And what? Another tower here from TaToH, 3 in a line. You don't see that very often, but he is desperately trying to get this wood, clearly. MbL is really close now, 34 wood on that tree. Over up at this side, there's 50 wood and 21 wood on this tree. Looks like they're going to break out at almost identical times here. But yes, MbL not able to get enough food income here to keep villagers going continually. And TaToH, as a result, is getting ahead. 3 villagers ahead at this moment in time and rising. So archery range coming up. And once he's out, he's going to get gold. He's out. He's out. MbL, is he out? Not yet, but he nearly is. He's nearly there. 15 wood to cut, and he'll be there. But yeah, obviously getting out now. Stable coming up, and it looks like we'll see maybe some scouts. You know, maybe some scouts. But in fact, TaToH here, his food income really not bad. He's got quite a lot of food in the bank. If he just gets some gold, he could go up to the castle age, I think. I mean, he's not under any particular pressure from MbL. MbL's not counter-towering him. He's not attacking him at all in his economy, and he's actually doing pretty damn good. So both of them are broken out right now. The gold income is about to get going for TaToH, and if TaToH sticks as he is and keeps this amount of farms and just doesn't make any military, he could go castle very soon. But TaToH's got other ideas. TaToH's ideas are scout cavalries, because, you know, if you're in doubt, get some scout cavalries out, and I don't know why he's doing that, really. He can obviously use them to get out to the edge of the map, and if you have a look at his line of sight, you can clearly see that MbL's out due to that stump. But I don't know if they're going to be that great, to be honest with you. 3 scouts is going to slow down his castle time quite a bit, and sure, he would be quite slow anyway. Would take a while to get these villagers out. I guess if he can get by these towers, and if he can use his scouts to harass the gold piles of MbL, then that could work out pretty well. MbL so far just looking for some gold back here, and so far not finding anything, but he'll find some eventually. These scouts hot on their heels as they head around the side, but I think that TaToH in this situation, he could have gone up to the castle age and just not really bothered with these scouts here. I don't necessarily think they were too crucial to this game. Stone, interestingly enough, though, has now run out, and TaToH here does not have any more stone at all. Building another lumber camp here, and he doesn't have enough stone for another tower either, which is annoying. He's actually got a few idle villagers up this side as well, which is also a shame, because they will not be contributing to the greater good of his economy. So stonewalling this off, I guess that's the plan. Stonewall this and prevent MbL from being able to push back eventually. The scouts still going to go through though, and these villagers are going to get a little bit of arrow fire in their faces as they try and block this off. Wheelbarrow just coming in for both of them, and MbL with a quick wall up. Nicely done. Look at that. Houses going up in a line there very quickly. Robertson not going to get through, but he is. The house didn't complete. What is going on? MbL definitely didn't delete that. I don't believe he deleted that for a second. I just don't think he put enough health on it. And Robertson and TaToH quickly taking it out. He's going to get a villager kill, and then he's going to run away before he gets caught off guard with 3 more villagers there. But he's going to find the gold at the back. He's going to see exactly what's going on. Now, MbL, what's his plan? Well, he's taking quite a bit of gold at the moment. His food income's not bad now. He's got all of these extra farms up. And I think he's going castle very soon. He's not showing any signs of making more military. And that's totally cool. Totally fine. Bringing in all these villagers on the gold then to try and stop these scouts from ruining his day. And these scouts just going to hang around, probably just pester these guys for a while. There's not a lot else they can do. Now, castle age for Robert Stinson coming up any second now. He's just 40 food away, or 38 if you want to be dead on. But yeah, just about to click up. It's going to be pretty close, in fact. Just short on the gold is MbL. But Robert Stinson's up on 5% now, as MbL just behind him. Surprisingly close, to be honest with you. At this point in time, surprisingly close on the way up to castle. And Robert Stinson here looking for another villager kill. Will he find it? Well, I doubt he will. He's going to obviously focus down that weakened villager and get his scouts focused down as well. That villager's dead. Wow. I did not think he would have got away with that. MbL there losing yet another one, and that puts him 3 villagers down compared to TaToH here. TaToH's towers on the top not being too successful, and like I said, I mean, I wasn't surprised, to be honest with you. He did eventually get fletching, bear in mind, but obviously MbL here really prioritizing keeping these towers alive. I guess it doesn't really matter too much right now, but one thing that you will have noticed is that all the stone is gone, and for the Celt player, that's a pain. He is now putting up 2 stables. He doesn't have many options, to be honest. He's not got any stone to build a castle with. And for the Celts, getting up castles is really important in, you know, not just map control, but also in making your army. Like, the Celts don't get the best knights in the world. They don't get the best paladins. They're pretty poor, piss poor in comparison to the Huns paladins. And, well, he can't get a castle up if there's no stone. That means no Woad Raiders, and the Celt player is suddenly at a pretty big disadvantage because of that. And I think the Huns here have got a really good potential to do a lot of damage once he's up to the castle age. So we'll see how it goes, I guess. And I kind of feel like the Huns should have an inherent advantage here. But 3 stables from MbL, and that is some serious stableness, as he's got 3, 6, 9 villagers on the gold there at the top. And plenty of farms to support his villagers with as well. So castle age now for TaToH, and we'll see he is doing probably cavalry archers, judging by the fact he's built 2 more ranges at the edge of the map. Now those cavalry archers are pretty much blocked out by this house. If they can get through, then that's going to be great, but there's no easy way through here. Obviously both sides have been walled up by MbL. If TaToH was to delete a wall, he could run in around the trees and back through, but that's kind of risky, as there are towers here and villagers will probably spot him coming a mile off. So in this situation, TaToH's TaToH's cavalry archers at the edge of the map probably not going to be too efficient, to be honest with you. Now in the middle we got 3 knights out at a time for MbL. MbL here with +1 defense, +1 attack, and he's going to kill villagers off very quickly now. He's got these knights on the field, and I think, you know, perhaps TaToH was expecting crossbows here from MbL, but MbL would only really go for crossbows if he could transition into Woad Raiders. The fact that there's no stone means that he can't transition into Woad Raiders, and because he can't do that, he's only got one real option, and that is to go with Knights into Cavalier into Paladins if the game gets that far. There's plenty of gold, there's plenty of food, and even though the Celts don't have the best Paladins in the world, without access to Woad Raiders, that's about the best they've got at the moment. So this is really good for MbL here. These Cavalry Archers don't have Bloodlines yet, and although they do have Bodkin Arrow, they're going to get cut down very quickly by the Knights from MbL. MbL suddenly looking in a pretty good place. He's got 2 more villagers on the map after killing a few from TaToH already, and the military KD so far is 16-6 for MbL, and apologies for the game stuttering a bit here. I don't know why this happens, but after watching a few games, the game just starts to lag up for some reason. But MbL just cleaning house up at TaToH's base. TaToH, for some reason, not putting his villagers inside the TC. They just kind of ran to the left a bit and then died. Horrible stuff for him, and he's really far behind now in economy, and surprisingly, he still has the score lead. I don't know what that's about, but impressive, Mr. TaToH, Mr. Robert Stinson. On the top, we got a Siege Workshop coming out for the Celts, and the Celts actually have really good siege because of that fastest firing time, meaning that if MbL even tries to micro a little bit, he should be able to easily out micro the mangonels from TaToH. TaToH at the moment, though, getting back into it now, 4th range coming up, and that's pretty much a standard number for the Huns in the Castle Age. But yeah, he's not had a good early castle. I honestly thought that the Huns would have an advantage here going into this. Maybe in the late game they will get the advantage, but TaToH at the moment killing it, absolutely killing it with those Knights. Sorry, not TaToH, sorry, MbL killing it with those Knights. MbL much higher APM now as well, taking that APM lead. I'm just looking over at the APM counter, and that's looking pretty good for him. Let's be honest, that's looking pretty good. Just dipping below now, but hey, while he was doing that attack, he was looking really strong. And that was fantastic eco damage for him. So at the back of the map now, the second TC is up for TaToH. No second TC yet for MbL, but that's expected considering he's done 3 Knights at a time. You can't afford to do 3 Knights, 3 Stables, and Siege Workshop, and get a second and third TC up and running. That just doesn't happen. But these mangonels out on the front for MbL, that's going to be pretty huge. Robert Stinson here has no idea what's going on. He's put up an outpost to try and see, but the attack's about to come in. He's massing up his cavalry archers as best as possible, but 2 mangonels, it's going to be pretty tough for him to counter that. Now, he can afford another mangonel, and he should probably consider building one, because he will be outnumbered here, and that is not a good situation to be in at all. You've got to keep up in mangonel numbers. And we saw that yesterday with Fish and Juan, where Fish just had so many more mangonels and Juan could not catch up, and eventually Fish just won that game. So TaToH now taking a bit of damage to his TC as MbL fires his mangonels on the left side. Of course, going to move out of range and start taking pot shots, perhaps force a reaction. The reaction's coming. TaToH's got his mangonel on the right side. MbL needs to watch what's going on, moving his mangonel out of the way just in time. And now he knows that TaToH only has 1 mangonel. TaToH just doing bloodlines at the moment. And chain barding armor as well. TaToH in this situation knows that he needs to get a couple of knights out. But really not bad. A couple of conversions there with those monks. Certainly making the monks pay for themselves. As Robert Stinson on the defensive now. Taking a beating from these knights. But hey, the knights getting converted. Going to buckle pretty quickly, and MbL now forced to retreat or lose this, lose these 2 mangonels. That's too expensive for him to want to lose that. So the monks from TaToH, fantastic decision, and that certainly helped to turn that fight around. If it weren't for the monks, then MbL could have done a lot more damage there. There's mangonels getting a couple of good shots onto the cavalry archers though, and although they didn't die, Bloodlines has now been researched, remember. Although they didn't die, they've taken a bit of a beating. But I think TaToH now on the recovery. He's got a much larger military, 34 military units versus the 14 from MbL. And that's pretty huge. Those cavalry archers now, so easy to mass up for the Huns. And he's going to work his way into the back of TaToH's economy. Sorry, not TaToH's economy. MbL's economy. MbL is playing in the teal. MbL trying to quickly wall up. He might lose a couple of villagers. And if he can snipe this one on the right. If he can snipe the one on the right. Oh my goodness me. No, that wall up is going to happen. He had to sacrifice a few villagers to get it. But it was worth doing as those cavalry archers are unable to progress any further. But TaToH grabbing himself the villager lead count, or the villager count lead, 56 to 52, and those cavalry archers are going to be a pain in the butt for MbL to deal with now, as they're going to start, you know, pulling down these palisade walls very quickly. Surprisingly, though, MbL's up to 3 TCs. He must have bought some stone, because there's no other way he would have been able to afford that third one. And with those 3 TCs, he might be able to keep himself pretty level in population count. At the moment, though, really far behind in military. And that's kind of a big deal. Robert Stinson here as well, also buying 100 stone. And in fact, buying more than that. I'm just looking at quickly at the right side, looking at the markets. Robert Stinson has actually bought 300 stone this game, apparently. I don't know where that stone's been spent. If he's bought 300, I kind of don't believe that. But that's apparently what the analytics of this game says. Not sure what that's about. But anyway, Elite Skirmisher coming up now for MbL. Obviously as a counter to these cavalry archers. And he's gone from being really in control to just falling right back. Flat on his face once again in this game so far. On the left side, we've got a stone wall coming up from Robert Stinson as well. And, yeah, thumb ring coming up as well now. Just to make these cavalry archers all that more efficient. All that more... give them all that more DPS, a lot more damage coming out once these guys start firing a lot faster. So, Robert Stinson attacking ground there. I don't know if you saw that. Nearly took out that mangonel. MbL nearly walked straight into it, or rolled straight into it, I guess you could say. Leather archer armor coming in as well. And, well, these guys, these cavalry archers, really getting all the upgrades at the moment. Thumb ring is now done. You'll notice how he actually waited to get thumb ring before he engaged that mangonel. And that's because the faster firing speed allows you to snipe mangonels a lot more efficiently, a lot more quickly. You get a few more shots in before the mangonel fires again, and that is more than enough to take it out. And obviously, as proven there, MbL did not kill a single cavalry archer in that little engagement. This mangonel, 37 health, and wow, MbL has a ton of spearmen, now pikemen, on this left side. I don't know what he's planning with this many pikemen, but certainly not going to be that effective against this many cavalry archers. I mean, pikemen, come on, what's that about? At least go for skirms. But yeah, I mean, pikes? MbL's up to something here, and I don't like it, because this many pikes is not a good sign. It's super defensive, and they're going to get cut down very quickly by these cavalry archers. It's not like, though, it's not like he can't afford more knights or anything like that. I mean, he has got a lot of gold at the back here. He's got a bunch of farms as well. But like I said, I mean, the Celt knights really are lacking quite a lot. As you see, no bloodlines here, and you know, they're going to get cut down very quickly by this many cavalry archers anyway. What he needs is more siege. And, well, more skirms, I feel, at this point in time. And he is starting production of skirmishers again. But Robert Stinson also adding skirmishers of his own. Elite skirmisher now being researched. And that surprises me, to be honest with you. But I guess if he's going up against a huge army of counters, he doesn't want to throw away too many of these gold units, because that would get pretty costly. But yeah, 55 military for TaToH now, and 23 for MbL. So, I mean, MbL's just clearly falling quite far behind. Economy-wise, though, they both have 76 villagers, which makes it fairly close in that respect. But TaToH just does seem very much in control of this game. At the moment, anyway, for now. So, apparently, Robert Stinson bought another 100 stone, and I'm not sure what he's planning to do with that. I guess that was for the walls and stuff. So far, just 200 stone bought for MbL for his 2 new TCs. But MbL needs to get more stone from somewhere if he wants to build a castle at some point, which is going to be so crucial, so vital in this game for him. But I've got a feeling we're not going to see that. As TaToH here pushing in on the front. into that wall of skirms. Retreat back. Wide stance on those cavalry archers, of course, to keep them as safe as possible. But TaToH here, his eco, look at that, 500 food, 400 gold versus the 150 food and 450 gold of MbL. I kind of get the feeling that TaToH's not going to be far from the Imperial Age here. And sure, these guys had a much slower start to the game, a slower build-up. But I don't think that Robert Stinson's going to be too far from Imperial. You know, he's going to be there before long. MbL's only just getting handcart now. And I don't know actually, yeah, obviously, I don't know actually if Robert Stinson's done handcart already. I don't think he did, in fact. So maybe MbL will catch up in that respect. But on the top side now, Robert Stinson getting a couple of villager kills. He could come here and destroy this palisade. MbL going to try and wall up behind this to stop that from happening. So it's a good spot from him, but I'm surprised that TaToH hasn't gone for the palisade first. Either way, he's got a bunch of villagers, and he now has 11 more villagers on the map, which is pretty huge. And TaToH even, the purple guy here, Robert Stinson, about to click Imp at 41 minutes, which is not too bad, considering how many damn units he's got on the map. He has got a lot. 60 military at the moment, which is huge. And MbL here with a wall of skirmishers and pikemen. Is it any surprise that he can't afford the Imperial Age yet? He's spending so many resources on trash units here, just to try and keep himself nice and safe for now. Not happening though. It's not happening at all. On the right side, TaToH here. Gonna bring down the palisade, I hope. Oh, and he's going back. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. I was hoping he'd go for the palisade here. I really was. He could do it. MbL would have a difficult time walling up behind that. But still, Siege Workshop on the right side. And Robert Stinson's preparing for an attack. On the left side, another TC. And he's actually bought quite a few, quite a bit of stone so far this game. Sorry. Buying, I think, 400, 500 stone now. That's quite a lot, and I think it's certainly been worthwhile. Clearly. So these onagers here, these mangonels, going to get a lot of shots on these skirmishers. MbL, where is your micromanagement? It is not there. The game seems to be quite laggy as well. I don't know what's going on with it, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's like freezing up and locking up all over the place. Maybe it's the recorded game, maybe it's just me, I'm not sure. But maybe I'm just having the same problems as MbL and my PC can't handle it. The game is just too intense, it's too hot in here. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But anyway, TaToH really in control of this game at the moment. Imperial Age now for MbL as well, but quite a long way behind. He's on 9%, 10%, and TaToH is on 64%. So a big difference there. And TaToH now, I'm gonna try and speed this up. Like, what is this? Why is it going so slow? What the hell is going on right now? I have no idea. Really weird. But either way, we'll watch this one in slow-mo, I guess. TaToH clearly with a much larger military, and he's not spamming trash either, which I always take as a good sign. Now, he's got a whole lot of gold income still. Plenty of gold income coming in at the edge of the map. He's got an option. I guess he could keep making cavalry archers and upgrade to heavy cavalry archer. He's certainly going to be adding more siege. Obviously, you can't upgrade past mangonel as the Huns, but siege rams could certainly be coming in soon. And siege rams will be pretty effective here. There's not too many units that would counter them. Obviously, these skirmishers would be useless against the rams. The pikes would be okay, but they get cut down by the cavalry archers, and there's not many knights or mangonels here either. So MbL putting up a couple of siege workshops on the front as well. But TaToH, battering rams coming out. He's doing capture ram now. He's also doing bracer now as well. And I think we're going to see very shortly the heavy cavalry archer upgrade, but he's actually lacking in quite a bit of resources here. He's been producing so many military units that he doesn't have a surplus of resources for the upgrades. That, and also the fact that capture ram and bracer takes quite a bit of resources on their own. So these cavalry archers are about to pack a huge punch. MbL cannot get close with those knights before being brought down. And MbL here just stalling, it seems, until he can reach the Imperial Age himself. He's at 130 population, whilst TaToH's at 179. There's a pretty big difference here. On the right side, TaToH not using this siege workshop just yet, but he could put out a ram or a mangonel out here and try and kill some stuff from over this wall still. But yeah, Imperial Age now coming in slowly but surely for MbL, whilst Robert Stinson, he's gone up with Parthian tactics and chemistry, meaning that these cavalry archers are about to go next level, getting a lot more efficient, getting a bit of armor, getting more attack damage. They're getting the works here. And on the left side, all of these rams coming forwards now. Mangonel's mixed in for good measure, but I mean, cavalry archers are so tanky as well. That's the beauty of them. Not only are they ranged, they're pretty damn tanky with that extra health that they have. 70 health is quite substantial, and they're not even heavy cavalry archers yet. They're not even upgraded. So Parthian tactics done, chemistry on the way. And that's going to complete very shortly, as MbL just does. He's doing halberdier right now. I cannot believe he's doing halberdier. Why? Halberdier coming in, and they're just going to get cut down in a matter of seconds by this mass of heavy cavalry archers, just cavalry archers. I don't understand MbL's thought process there when going for halberdier. Like, I know that he's not got access to Woad Raiders here. I know it's going to be difficult against this army of cavalry archers. But why halberdier? I don't get that. But it's GG. MbL is calling it right there. On the right side, we've got those capped rams coming through, breaking down this stone wall. And the majority of MbL's army there just getting crushed. He's down to 12 military at the end of the game. And, I mean, really, it was tough for him. And like I said, I feel like the Huns would have had the advantage ultimately there. But I think what MbL needed was more siege. I know it was difficult, but more siege would have helped. Maybe some rams earlier on to tank some of the cavalry archer fire, mangonels to fire over the rams, take them down, that kind of thing. And maybe more skirmishers, but not halberdier. I mean, why would you make halberdier when there's that many cavalry archers sitting there? All your opponent has to do is move them back, and then the halberdier just get wiped out in an instant. I mean, you saw how quickly they died. Not sure what the thought process on that one was, but still, TaToH going to get a well-deserved win, and that's going to make it 3-2 to TaToH after that game 5 in Chaos Pit. And I guess the name of the map kind of reflects how the game went. I mean, the most chaotic part of the game was bang slap in the middle of the map. I mean, it does not get much more central than this, so I guess that's where the chaos really was. But yeah, pretty good game from TaToH. He did seem in control for quite some time. That early raiding from MbL